You think your cat loves you, and maybe they do, but here's something that might sting a little. Most of what you're doing to show your cat affection is completely invisible to them. It's like speaking fluent English to someone who only understands Japanese. You're putting in all this effort, all this heart, and your cat is just sitting there wondering what on earth you're trying to communicate. And the worst part? Some of the things you do every single day, things you're absolutely certain prove you're a loving owner, might actually be teaching your cat to keep their distance from you. I know that sounds harsh, but stick with me, because once you understand what's actually happening in your cat's brain when you interact with them, everything changes. The distance closes, the trust deepens, and that aloof little creature who tolerates your presence suddenly becomes the cat who seeks you out, who chooses your lap over any other spot in the house, who genuinely, undeniably loves you back. Let's start with something you probably do wrong 100 times a day without even realizing it: the voice your cat actually hears. When you talk to your cat, what do you sound like? Be honest with yourself for a second. Do you use your normal voice, the same one you'd use to answer a work call or talk to a neighbor? Or does something shift? Does your voice go up a little? Get softer? Maybe a little silly? Most people feel ridiculous when they talk to their cats in that high-pitched, sweet, completely over-the-top baby voice. You probably wouldn't do it if anyone else was around. It feels embarrassing, childish even. But scientists actually studied this. They took cats and exposed them to recordings of their owners speaking. Sometimes the owners used their normal adult voice. Sometimes they used that exaggerated, gentle baby talk voice we all secretly use when no one's watching. Want to know what they found? When owners spoke in their regular voice, the cats barely acknowledged it. Their ears might twitch, they might glance over, but there was no real reaction. It was just background noise. But the second the recording switched to that soft, high-pitched, affectionate tone, everything changed. The cats turned their heads, their ears perked up. Some of them actually walked toward the sound. They recognized something in that voice that wasn't there before. And here's what blew my mind when I first read this. Your cat can tell the difference between your voice and a stranger's voice, but only when you use that sweet, gentle tone. When you speak normally, you might as well be anyone. But when you shift your voice into that register that says, "I adore you," your cat's brain lights up with recognition. That's my person. So what does this mean for you? It means every single interaction you have with your cat, every time you walk past them in the hallway, every time you fill their food bowl, every time you catch them staring at you from the windowsill, you have an opportunity to use your voice in a way that tells your cat, on a level they actually understand, that they matter to you. You don't need to say anything profound. The words don't matter at all. What matters is that your tone is warm, soft, and gentle. Because that tone is a language your cat was born understanding. It means safety. It means love. And it means you're not just the person who fills the food bowl. You're someone worth trusting. The 3-second gesture that changes everything. Your cat is staring at you right now, maybe from across the room, maybe from the arm of the couch, and then slowly, almost like they're doing it on purpose, their eyes close. Just for a moment, then they open again. Most people think their cat is just tired or spacing out, but that slow blink isn't random at all. It's one of the most intentional things a cat can do. And it's meant for you. Researchers wanted to test whether this slow blink actually meant anything, or if it was just something cat owners made up to feel special. So they designed an experiment. They had owners slow blink at their cats, strangers slow blink at cats they'd never met, and then they watched what happened. The results were crystal clear. Cats who received slow blinks were significantly more likely to slow blink back, and they were more likely to approach the person who did it. The effect was strongest with their owners, but even strangers who slow blinked got a warmer reception than people who just stared. Think about what that means. A gesture that takes 3 seconds, no treats involved, no fancy toys, nothing you can buy at a pet store, completely changed how those cats felt about the person in front of them. Here's why this matters so much. In cat language, direct eye contact without a blink is aggressive. It's a challenge. When one cat stares hard at another cat without breaking eye contact, they're saying, "Back off, this might get ugly." So every time you look at your cat and hold that stare, even if you're feeling nothing but pure love in your heart, your cat might be reading something completely different. They might be wondering why you're challenging them, why you're making them uncomfortable. But when you look at them and then slowly close your eyes, you're breaking that tension completely. You're saying, "I see you, but I'm not a threat. You're safe with me." And when your cat blinks back, they're saying the exact same thing to you. This is something you can do every single day. Make it a habit. Every morning when you first see your cat, every evening when you're both winding down, whenever your eyes meet, slow blink. Let your eyelids drop gently, hold it for just a moment, and then open them again. When your cat returns that blink, you're not imagining the connection. That's real. That's your cat telling you in their own language that they trust you with their life. The play your cat is starving for. You grab a toy. Maybe it's a feather wand. Maybe it's a little mouse on a string. You wave it in front of your cat. You wiggle it around. You make it dance. And your cat just stares at you like you're embarrassing yourself, like you've completely missed the point. This happens in living rooms all over the world every single day. Owners trying their best to engage their cats, and cats responding with the feline equivalent of, "Are you serious right now?" Here's what's actually going on. Your cat isn't lazy. They're not broken. They're bored out of their mind because what you're doing doesn't resemble anything their brain recognizes as worth chasing. Cats are apex predators. Every single instinct in their body is built around a very specific sequence: stalk, chase, pounce, catch. That's the script their DNA has been following for thousands of years. And when you wave a toy back and forth in the same predictable pattern, you're giving them none of that. Real prey doesn't float through the air at eye level. It doesn't move toward a predator. It runs away, it hides, it freezes, then darts unpredictably. It tries desperately not to get caught. That's what your cat's brain is wired to respond to. Not repetitive wiggling, not lazy circles, but genuine, unpredictable prey-like movement. So here's what changes everything. When you play with your cat, make the toy act like it's terrified of them. Drag it across the floor away from your cat. Let it disappear behind furniture. Make it freeze when your cat gets close, then have it bolt at the last second. Vary the speed. Make it erratic. When you do this right, you'll see something shift in your cat's body language. Their pupils will dilate. Their body will drop low to the ground. Their rear end will wiggle as they prepare to pounce. That's not just play. That's your cat's brain activating every hunting instinct they were born with. And here's the part most people never connect. A cat who gets this kind of play every single day doesn't just stay physically fit. They become emotionally healthier, calmer, more affectionate, more bonded to you. Because you're not just entertaining them, you're fulfilling something primal, something their soul needs. And they will never forget the person who gives them that. The power of doing absolutely nothing. What if I told you the most profound thing you could do for your cat today was to sit on your couch and completely ignore them? That probably sounds backwards. Most of us think bonding requires action, petting, playing, talking, giving treats. We feel like if we're just existing in the same space without interacting, we're wasting an opportunity. But your cat sees it completely differently. In the wild, cats only rest near other creatures they trust completely. They don't cuddle the way dogs do. They don't seek constant physical contact. But they do share space. And that quiet, pressure-free coexistence is one of the strongest bonds cats form. When you sit near your cat without reaching for them, without calling their name, without trying to make something happen, you're communicating something incredibly powerful. You're saying, I don't need anything from you. I'm not here to take. I'm just here. And for a cat, that is everything. Here's what will happen if you make this a daily practice. At first, your cat might stay across the room. They might watch you from a distance, waiting to see what you're going to do, but over days, over weeks, that distance will shrink. They'll move closer. Same room. Then, same piece of furniture. Then right next to you. Not because you asked, because they chose you, and in the world of cats, being chosen is the highest form of love there is. The truth about loving your cat isn't complicated. It doesn't require expensive products or elaborate routines. It just requires you to speak their language instead of expecting them to speak yours. And once you do, everything changes.